What is going on, my fellow YouTuberians? My name is Scrunt, and today we are back on Call of Duty World War II. So, before I get this video started, I just wanted to announce that I have been playing another game alongside Call of Duty. It's not an FPS or anything like that. It's just like my sweet getaway when I get tired of playing Call of Duty, because let's face it, we can't play Call of Duty like we used to, or people my age just can't play Call of Duty like we used to. And I'm only 19, but I used to be able to grind this game for like 16 hours a day, but now I find that if I play for any more than like maybe 2 or 3 hours, that's when I start to get like really annoyed, and I just need to take a break for a little bit and then come back to it. Even if I'm doing fine, like even if I'm doing great, like there's still just things that annoy me, and I don't want to get to that point where constantly whenever I get into this game I'm already like annoyed and angry from like the day before or whatever. I don't want to get there, so I'm gonna try to limit my time on Call of Duty. I want to keep a positive mind and outlook when it comes to Call of Duty. I don't want to like spoil my fun because I just am playing for too long and just like getting burnt out of it. So I'm gonna limit that. I'm gonna start making videos on the other game that I started to play. I'm not gonna give any names. I don't want to give it away. But basically how it's gonna go is I'm gonna upload this video, obviously, and then I will upload a video of the game that I want to play, and then back to Call of Duty, back to the game that I'm started to play, and it'll just, it'll go back and forth like that. So without further ado though, let's get this video started, and as you've probably seen from the title, we are talking about the maps in Call of Duty World War II, whether or not they are good or bad. So I think the community is kind of split up into like a 75-25 type of split, where 75% of the community doesn't like the maps. Like they fucking hate them, they think they're trash, and then the other 25% of the community actually does like them and thinks they're alright. I will definitely say that I was in the 75 percentile view when I first started playing this game. Like the maps were just so simple, so basic, like it was just except for obviously like Gustav Canyon, which I'm playing on right now. The majority of the maps, like 8 out of the 9 maps that we had, were very basic, 3-lane maps. There wasn't any room to really run around or breathe. It was just you pick a lane, you go for it, and you hope that you don't get sniped or whatever, or camped out. And that's how it goes for 8 out of the 9 maps, except for like Gustav Canyon and maybe USS Texas, but I still think USS Texas is pretty, it's bigger, but it's still like a 3-lane simple map. So Gustav Canyon is in reality like the only map that we got right now that's worth playing, or so I thought. It wasn't until recently that I actually started to change the way that I was playing the game, the way that I was really kind of moving around the map, and that's when it really kind of made me a better player, I guess, and it made me appreciate the maps more. I still don't think that they are very good maps. Like these 3-lane map designs are fucking terrible, and if you played Call of Duty at all in the past, you'll know, like, going from playing Call of Duty the way it was with their maps, where you had a lot of free range, you had a lot of movement that you could just, it wasn't so close quarters, you had room to fucking breathe, and you could just take alternative routes that people normally didn't take and get the upper hand and stuff like that. If you were playing CODs that had that, and then you go to this, you're gonna have a fucking bad time, because you're gonna be trying to run around, you're gonna be trying to like set up in places, and it's not going to work. You're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die from the campers that are just sitting at the end of the lane, and that's that. So I really was looking at the way that I was playing. I was like, I have to be doing something wrong. I see all these people that are so successful with these maps, and I definitely have had like my fair share of successful games, but they were too few and far between. Like, it just didn't make sense. I'm not a bad COD player by any means, and I don't mean this to sound braggy, but whenever I buy a new COD, like, I usually do better than the average player, and I have the majority of my games are very good and they're very fun, and I go positive. But the sad reality of it was I was doing terribly when I first started this game. I'd have a couple good games here and there, but they were nothing near what I was doing back in other Call of Duty. Even the jetpack Call of Duties, like, I hated the jetpack Call of Duties, and I was still doing better on their maps than I was on these World War II maps, and it didn't make any sense to me. It really did not make any sense to me. So I started looking at, like, what was I doing? What exactly was I doing that was making it so I wasn't winning gunfights? I was just running directly into enemies, and they were always behind me. Like, I was trying to figure that out, figure out the spawns, figure out, you know, maybe my accuracy was bad or something. I don't know. So I totally looked at everything that I was doing in Call of Duty, and I found out a few things that I think might be useful for you guys. So the number one thing that I found was my sensitivity was too high. I was trying to play it at 8, and that was stupid of me. I was not ready for 8 sensitivity. Even though, like, it felt fine in my hands, I was not very sporadic when it came to, like, the aiming and stuff like that. I just could not lock onto a target because my sensitivity was too high. I dropped that down to a 4. And wow, like, the difference was pretty immense. Like, I definitely understand now why pros they play at the lower sensitivities. I instantly went from doing, I don't know, let me just give an example, I guess. I went from doing like 15 and maybe 10 or 9 to doing like 20 to 25 and 9. Like, it was absolutely insane because I was landing my shots better. Like, I was just I had more control over my character and my gun. And so that's definitely something that I think some of you should look at. Maybe your sensitivity is too high, maybe it's too low. Like, if you're playing on a 1 or 2 sensitivity, you're probably not able to turn on the enemies very good. So maybe I'll try to up that just a little bit. Don't go crazy and, you know, boost it up to 14. But I think anywhere between like 4 and 6 is definitely a good sensitivity range. So maybe dabble around with that, see if that helps you out. But for the next thing, this actually does have to do with the maps. It doesn't have to do with anything that you're really doing. Learn the maps very well. So I play team deathmatch for the most part, just because when it comes to objectives, if I don't have friends that I play with, it tends to be a very bad match, and just it's very annoying because no one gives a shit about an objective in this game. So we always lose, and everyone just goes for kills, and it's just like, why are you playing this? Why don't you just play team deathmatch? But that's beside the point. So I've been playing a lot of team deathmatch, and I have learned their spawns fairly well. And let me tell you, once you know the spawns, you're good. Like, I was trying to fight the fact that Call of Duty has changed and has become this, like, spawn camping, 3-lane simpleton map design, but I'm not fighting it anymore. Like, I'm embracing it. I'm becoming a spawn camper. I'm walking instead of sprinting. I'm aiming down my sights around every single corner. You know, I'm aiming down my sights down high value lanes. Like, you just need to become the ultimate camper. That's the only possible way that these maps can become decent. And ever since I started doing that, my KD has gone up. The amount of kills that I get in just team deathmatch has skyrocketed. I have been having a lot more fun because I'm winning more, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't. It's not something that I typically like to do. I fucking hate camping, but if the game is just going to be like this, and this is like their final decision, this is how they're going to design their maps, and we have to then we have to just embrace it and start playing the way that they want us to play, which is spawn camping. And very tactically, I guess. Even it's not really tactically, but just don't sprint as much. That was my biggest problem, was sprinting. Like, I was sprinting all over the place. Don't sprint as much. Just walk around ready to aim down your sights. You know, sprint a little bit here and there, but you know, just get to cover. You know, defend that cover, look left and right, aim down your sights, all that jazz. That's all you got to do. And then these maps start becoming better and better because you're doing better and better on them. So overall, I think these maps are trash. Like, these maps are trash, but they can be all right to play on if you just play like a little camper and do all that. So that's basically it for the maps for Call of Duty and how you should be playing to get good at them. But if you did enjoy, please drop a like, and also remember to subscribe for more gaming content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.